would be 4 minus negative 4. Okay, so 4 minus 2 gives me 2. Over 4 minus negative 4 is going to give me 8, so I get a slope of 1/4. Okay? All right, now that was the slope of this red line right here. Now let's find the slope of this green line, or rather, let's just keep it blue. Okay? Now, the 2 points they give me are 0, 0, and 4, 1. You know, your other option, aside from just using slope formula, is to just count rise over run, right? So if I just do m equals rise over run, then what is my rise? How far do I go up to get from 0, 0 to 4, 1? How far do I go up? 1. And then how far do I run?
4.
Okay, so my slope is 1/4. So what does that mean about my lines? Yep, so parallel, because they have the same slope. This is one way we could tell that lines were parallel if we're given coordinates. Okay, check the slope of each one.
Should I charge someone? Like
2%?
2%. I have a charger.
Pretty low, Landon. You what?
I have a charger.
I'll give you my portable one. Oh yeah, the juice is full, baby. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so cool. Now let's look at some postulates and theorems that we can do with that, okay? Now, here's how I want to present this. In the past, you guys just took a quiz on this 14 seconds ago. If we knew that if we knew that lines were parallel, what could we say about corresponding angles? If lines were parallel, then corresponding angles were what? Congruent. Corresponding were congruent, right? All right? Now, it turns out the converse of that statement is true. Do you guys know what that means, converse? It's kind of like if you flip your if and your then statement, you switch those around, then we find that that's true. Okay, so the converse of if lines are parallel, then angles are congruent would be if angles are congruent, then lines are parallel to each other. And that's what we're going to spend today talking about, okay? So here's what it says. If two lines in a transversal form corresponding angles that are congruent, then the lines are parallel to each other. So if I look at a picture and I see, okay, angle 2 is equal to angle 6, I recognize them as corresponding angles, then I can say that the lines are parallel to each other. So it just flips your if and then statement from what we had in last section, okay? Now, instead of calling that a theorem, here's how we would write it in a proof, okay? So this would be your abbreviation. This is how abbreviated you can make it. If corresponding angles are congruent, then lines are parallel, okay? You would have to write that as your reason in your 2-column proof if we were to write that as a proof, okay? Or if you're justifying something, that's what you would write as your justification, okay? So if corresponding angles congruent, then lines are parallel. I guess you could do corresponding angles congruent implies parallel lines. So if you wanted to abbreviate it like this, I'm cool with that as well too. I know you guys are always trying to find the shortest way to write something. Let me hear your ideas, Dom.
Corresponding angles, congruent angles theorem.
We're not going to make a theorem with it. We're just going to leave it as, because technically we could make it like a converse, corresponding angles converse, but I want to keep it consistent with how the rest of the teachers are teaching it. So that's as abbreviated as I'm going to get. Okay? Corresponding angles congruent implies, that's what that arrow means, parallel lines. We'll do that. Okay? There's one for all of our angle pairs. So there's one for corresponding, there's one for alternate interior, there's one for alternate exterior, and there's one for consecutive interior, okay? So the next one is for alternate exterior. So if alternate exterior angles are congruent, then lines are parallel. So we would abbreviate it as alternate, even more so if you wanted to, exterior angles congruent implies, so we draw an arrow, implies parallel lines. You can abbreviate it like that if you want to. Alternate exterior angles congruent imply parallel lines, okay? All right, and then for consecutive interior, those angles weren't congruent though. They're supplementary, right? That's what you use to, add angles together and set it equal to 180, okay? So we could say consecutive, not much shorter, but consecutive interior angles supplementary implies parallel lines. That's how I will write it, okay? So if we see that consecutive interior angles add up to 180, then I can say that those lines are parallel to each other. Again, that's going to be our goal, is to show that lines are parallel. All right, and then last but not least, alternate interior angles. If two alternate interior angles are congruent, then we can say that lines are parallel. So alternate interior angles congruent implies parallel lines. Not the best arrow I've ever drawn, but there we go, something like that. All right, let's do some examples, and then we'll try to get to the proofs today. We'll see what happens. All right, so we have 4 examples here. Given the information that's given the examples, determine which lines, if any, are parallel, and then state the postulate or theorem that justifies that, okay? Now, imagine the picture resets for every one of these problems, okay? Let's first look at the case if I have angle 16 and angle 3. So if I have angle 16 congruent to angle 3, my question is this. What type of angles are those? What type of angle pair are they? They are indeed corresponding angles. Okay. Which lines would then be parallel? It would be the lines that they are attached to, which would be line what? That's an L, actually. Did you say P? Is that what you guys said? P is the transversal that connects the two of them. So what other lines are they attached to? L and M. So I would say that line L is parallel to line M. And now I need a reason for it. Liam called out that they are corresponding angles. So I would say corresponding angles congruent implies parallel lines. Okay. All right. We reset the clock. Now we look at 4 and 13. All right. 4 and 13. What type of angles do I have with 4 and 13? Alternate interior. Okay. All right. Well, that's good. So what lines would I get parallel if I know 4 and 13 are congruent? L and M again, right? Because 4 goes along with L and 4 goes along with M. They both are connected to P, but that's my transversal. So I would say line L parallel to line M, because alternate interior angles congruent imply parallel lines. That's a lot of writing. Is your iPad dead, Landon? Okay. All right, 4 and 10, or 14 and 10 rather. All right, so 14 is here. Oops. All right, so it says 14 and 10 equal 180. So I'm not going to put that they're congruent in the picture. I'm going to show that they're 2 different angles. But those 2 add together to equal 180. What type of angles are those? Good, Alyssa. Consecutive interior angles. I have that they're supplementary. That's what I want to have. So what lines could I get parallel out of that?
P and Q.
P and Q, because they're connected to P and Q. Good. So I'd say line P parallel to line Q. And then we would say consecutive. Ooh, what did we say on the last slide? Was it CONS? I didn't go all the way to the letter C, did I? Okay, so consecutive interior angles supplementary imply parallel lines. The most annoying part is writing all those justifications. Sorry. All right, last but not least, 1 is congruent to 7. What type of angles do I have in angle 1 and angle 7?
Alternate exterior.
You bet your bottom dollar they are. So then what lines would be parallel to each other? P and Q, good. So line P parallel to line Q. And then we would say, you said what? Alternate exterior? Alternate exterior angles, congruence, imply parallel lines. All right, we feeling all right? I hope so. Okay, 5 and 6. All right. Find the value of x. Oh, you guys are going to like these, you little algebraists. So it says find the value of x that makes p parallel to q. So we're solving for x. You guys are good at solving for x. And many other things. You guys are great geometry students. All right. If these lines would be parallel, what could you tell me about those angles? What type of angles would they be? That's true. They would be congruent because what angle pair would they be?
Oh,
Corresponding. So Angelina's right. It would indeed be congruent. So then if I want to solve for x, what should I do with these? Set them equal. 5x plus 90 equals 14x plus 9. All right, we solve for x. Subtract 5x from both sides. 90 equals 9x plus 9. Subtract 9 from both sides. 81 equals 9x. Divide by 9. You get x equals 9. I didn't ask you to find the angle measure, but if I wanted to check to see if I did it right, I would plug in x equals 9, right? And I would make sure that both of those values equal each other. Okay? All right. What about L and P? What type of angles do I have, or what type of relationship would I have for the example underneath? Those angles would have to be what? Congruent or supplementary? How come? Consecutive interior. Good. So what's my equation? 3x minus 4 plus 12x minus 11 equals 180. Good. That's the important part, the setup. Okay? I recognize their consecutive interior, so then I would add them together and set it equal to 180. All right, 3x and 12x is 15x. Negative 4 and negative 11 is a negative 15 equals 180. I proceed to solve. Add 15 to both sides. 15x equals 195. And then divide both sides by 15. You said what? 13. I believe you, Haya. So x is 13. Cool. You feeling all right? Okay. Okay. Practice these. You take a second, and you answer 7, 8, and 9, and tell me, can you prove that these lines A and B are parallel? Explain why or why not. So look at what type of angles you would have, and then figure out, are they an angle pair that we studied? And if so, do they have the right relationship? And if so, what lines would be parallel? I give you, how many seconds do we need? 90? I'll give you 90 seconds. Set a timer, Dad. That's what my kids say. Braden's going to tell me 7. Tegan's going to tell me 8. Ryan's going to tell me 9. All right, now we got less than a minute. Need help, Ryan? Okay. What did I tell you, 9? Let me hear your thoughts.
These two are the ones I'm finding, right?
Well, you're not necessarily finding the angle measure. You need to figure out what relationship those angles have of the angle pairs that I taught you guys.
Okay.
What would they be? Are they corresponding, alternate interior, alternate exterior, consecutive interior?
Oh.
My man. Oh, timer's up, guys. Now, those angles that you just wrote, what type of relationship would they have? Congruent or supplementary? Alternate interior should be what? Yes, but are they saying they're congruent in that statement they gave you? No. So because of that, we can't prove lines are parallel. No, you would say cannot prove lines parallel. Julia?
Couldn't they be congruent and supplementary?
Yes, but they would have to be what angle measure?
9.
Right, and we don't necessarily know that they're 90. So that's why we can't conclude anything. Braden, number 7, what type of angles you got? Good. It shows in the picture that those angles are what? So can I prove lines are parallel? Yep, so we'd say yes by alternate interior. Oh, no, you said exterior. Alternate exterior angles congruent implies parallel lines. Nice. Teague, number 8. What type of angles you got, bud? And what does it show in the picture? And they are, what do those arcs mean? It does. So, is that enough to prove lines parallel? Yes, sir. So we would say yes by, you told me, corresponding angles congruent imply parallel lines. Nice. Ryan, let's look at number 9. What type of angles are number 9?
Alternate interior.
Alternate interior. Does it say those alternate interior angles are congruent? No. So do I have enough to prove those lines parallel? No. All right, you guys get a pass. We're going to finish this on Monday.
We don't have homework, right?
No homework. Finish this on Monday. You guys will do this.
Dude, I can't.
Ah, shoot, I should have given you this to you guys and whatever. I should have given you homework, but
Delicious.
at the end of the bell, I decided not.
I'm gonna give this.
Just means you'll have double on Monday.
No, I'm not giving it.
Got you.
You don't even do it.
He doesn't get it.
You don't need to get homework.
Yeah.
Landon,
My mom was
did you did turn your quiz in?
Here, I can go.